So I've made a little notepad here. There's 3 things that I want to talk about when it comes to the future of the performing acting industry. And I say 3 things that actors should be thinking about. I think this applies to modeling, stunt work, voiceover. So this right here is the percentage of US population that went to the cinema, and this is over the course of many years. As you can see, once we hit about 1964, we plateau around 10%, which honestly is a lot. That's way more than I was expecting. 10% of the US population goes to the movie theaters once a week. I feel like that's a really high number. We are actually on the higher end throughout the world. The early 1900s all the way to 1930, film slowly took over theater. People started going to films a lot more than they went to live theater performances. And so the peak was 1930. And things go down and up, with the exception of the last little bit where it's been pretty stagnant. So we've been holding pretty steady at 10%. Just how theater, I wish I had a graph about theater so you can see as the rise of film came, the attendance to live theaters went down. There will always be a demand for in-person live performance. Frankly, I'm really happy about that because I love live performance. That's one of the huge draws to me to do live streams, right? Is being able to react and communicate with you guys. But just how I'm doing this in a live performance instead of me sitting in the middle of an amphitheater talking, I think that's foreshadowing for the future of the industry as well. Will film ever completely die out? No. I don't think people go to movie theaters for the big screen. I think they go to the movie theater because it's an event. They go with their friends. It's almost like going to a football game, even though you can watch the football game on TV. It's just an event and it's more fun to go in live in person. So film will never die out. But we're starting to come into a new era. We're about to go into a new era of sound, where radio podcasts are gonna make a comeback. So if you guys watch Gary Vaynerchuk, I think he's on the right track with that. Voice will take over the market for all businesses, and I think that it's gonna happen in the next 20 years or so. And let me explain. Like, people are gonna go to voice and say, "Hey Siri, what is..." Okay, I actually turned on my phone there. So no longer are they gonna go to movie theater pages and look at the list of movies. They're gonna go, "Hey Alexa, what's the new movie I should watch?" And Alexa, the company Amazon, will decide for them what movie they should watch. You might be saying, "Hey, like, this is all tinfoil hat stuff, right?" And it might be, but I think that this is the direction we're gonna go in the next 20 years. And because we're gonna be moving to voice as our main source of information. By the way, before I finish my thought, I think I need to point out that the reason we're all gonna be moving to voice is because there's less friction, right? I don't need to type anything to find information. All I have to do is ask out loud. Voice is just way less friction. Now, I don't think the technology has caught up to where we are using that regularly, right? But it's going to. And because voice is going to take over, businesses are going to start pouring entertainment dollars, the dollars that they, like these big entertainment businesses, instead of pouring it into film and video, they're going to be pouring it into voice and vocal performances and music. Like, music's gonna go huge, right? The future of the industry is, number 1, going to sound/voice. Number 2, I think there's going to be a shift from attending theaters to watch movies to in-home personal devices. All right, and then number 3, I'm gonna call it barrier to entry. I don't know if I spelled this right. I don't know. I'm terrible at spelling, by the way. The barrier to entry has constantly been moving down for film in general. The cameras are getting cheaper. I mean, I'm sitting here giving a presentation to you guys, streaming like to many platforms. There's lots of you guys watching right now. By the way, thank you so much for checking out the channel. Like, I really appreciate it. I'm gonna be trying to doing this more often. But the barrier to entry to create content has been significantly reduced. Like this green screen right here cost me like $100 or something, which is debatable whether it's worth it or not, right? 10 years ago, the idea of acting in front of a green screen was only for huge production studios. So equipment is lowering, but also the friction between you actually recording content and then sharing it in social media platforms is getting easier and easier all the time. How many of these kid stars are being born just off of TikTok? They're just filming videos on their phone with very little to no editing. I mean, in the past 6 months, there's people that have gone from 0 followers to over 6 million followers on TikTok. The friction to post content is almost non-existent. Whereas in YouTube, there is a little bit more friction because you have to upload a video, then you have to like fill out the title and the description and all these things. Like there's way more friction with YouTube than there is with TikTok. And I think that as a whole, social medias are gonna trend towards less friction, more frequent posts. If you're wanting to be a full-time performer, actor, model, voiceover, dancer, no longer are you trying to fight for these big industries. Dancing, for example. I'm not good at dancing. I can tap dance like at a beginner level. But if I was a major dancer, you would try to be part of a talent group or an agency or a dance company that travels, right? Like that seems like the big deal you'd want to be part of, but not anymore. And this is what I'm trying to say is that that's old stuff. That stuff is dying. It's on the decrease. What you really want to be doing is dancing on social media platforms. I think that acting has primarily been theater and film. That is also shifting towards social media. And that is what I'm most excited about. It's like I've acted in 50 plus films. I've acted in 30 plus musicals and theater things. Those have always been dependent on other companies and outside people. Whereas if I create stories and things online myself, I can post it on social media. I can act every day if I want to. Now the production quality might be not as good as Avengers, right? We just said before, the production quality is lowering its bar of entry all the time. So it makes me really excited to move forward, and that's why I'm sort of dedicating my whole channel to how to be a performer in today's day and age. If you're wanting to really boost your career and if you're really wanting to be someone, I think you need to be on social media. If you guys have any comments or suggestions about topics or how I can better improve this, like let me know in the comments. I read and reply to every single comment.